Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric with American Business Systems. We have a treat for you. We've got a great group of people already online. There's some other folks that are just logging in, getting in. We're going to be interviewing Aleaha Khan this afternoon. Adam and I have already been chatting with her, and what an impressive young lady she is. And we can't wait to get her on here in just a moment so that she can share with you her success and I'm not even going to steal any of her thunder. So she's an amazing woman. So I can't wait for you to hear her. But for those that are joining us this afternoon, again, thank you for joining us. I'm going to make our introduction pretty short this time because we want to make sure that we fill up this entire hour with some time with you, with Adam, and with Aleaha, so that you can ask some questions here. I mean, people are still piling in here, so this is an awesome afternoon. Folks, if you've ever been on any of our webinars, you'll know that I'm going to be asking you where you're calling in from. So if you don't mind, find your Q&A box there and then go ahead and type in your city and maybe even your state where you're located. I'll be kind of watching that over here in the Q&A box so I can kind of start calling some of those out. As I mentioned to those that are just getting in here, we're going to take this introduction pretty quickly so that we're not wasting a lot of time here. But folks, it looks like we got folks from all over the place, from New Jersey to Alabama, and some more New Jersey, North Carolina, Michigan, California, Arizona, California, Massachusetts, Alabama, California, and North Carolina. We got a lot of people here this afternoon. So Tennessee, California, all over the place. So thank y'all for popping in there. Again, my name's Eric Oje. I'll be your host this afternoon. Again, during the question and answer time, listen, this is y'all's webinar with us. And so you're going to be wanting to ask some of your questions to Leah and to Adam. I'll be the kind of the moderator there and kind of interjecting some questions there while Adam's chatting with Aleaha throughout the presentation. Speaking of Adam, Adam is our CEO. If you've never met him, Adam has been running the company for the last 5 to 6 years now. He is also the founder of an organization called MIRMA. MIRMA is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, and it is part of the organization that you'll become a part of once you've completed your training. And certainly once you do complete your training, it'll be MIRMA who will actually provide you the certification for your graduate part of when you've gone through all the training. And you will too, just like Aleaha, become a certified medical revenue manager. So folks, without any other delay, I'm going to ask Adam to join me. Adam, it's good to see you, sir. I hope that you've had a good New Year so far, and thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Eric, for having me on here. Really, appreciate you doing these webinars for us every week. I know people they see your face all the time, but maybe mine not so much. But man, I'm so excited about this. This is actually a pretty unique webinar this week. We typically kind of separate, our business owner webinars and our prospective business owner webinars. But this time I said, you know what, after I've talked to Aleaha a few times and just continue hearing the awesome things that she's doing with her business, I felt like, you know what, our business owners that are already, have already gone through our training and building their business, they need to hear her story as well, because it just keeps getting better every time we talk. So
Yeah.
very, very cool. I mean, she's basically just doing what we taught her, and it's working. It's just working really, really well. So I'm excited to get into it and start asking her some questions about it.
All right, let's go. Aleaha, why don't you join us this afternoon? And we appreciate you joining us. And man, there's questions already coming in. But I'm gonna let you and Adam chat for a little bit as I monitor these questions here. Go ahead, take it from there, Adam.
Yeah, Leah, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that you're a very busy lady, so I appreciate your time today.
You so much for having me, Adam. I am excited to be here and be able to answer any questions that you and anyone have. Thank you.
Yeah. Now you're not actually in San Francisco, right? That's a fake background there. Okay. You're not sitting on some mountain somewhere. Okay.
I am not.
Um, cool. Well, let's just jump right in. And by the way, guys, Eric just mentioned, we have that Q&A box. So we want you to ask Aleaha questions about her business, maybe ask her about marketing, whatever comes to mind. And we will start kind of interacting and asking questions that I have and questions that you guys have. Feel free to type them in starting right now, and we'll just kind of answer them as we go here. But let's just start kind of from the beginning as far as your business background? What type of what line of work have you been in? What industries have you been in? And kind of how did you get interested in medical billing? You want to start there?
Be the June of 2025, 2024, sorry, excuse me, is when I was looking at something that I wanted to do and build for myself. And I've done few researches to see what would be best. And I was more interested in something that I can run from home. So I came across ABS and had a call with Devon, as long as also attended many webinars to learn more about what you guys offer. So what kind of really drew me into ABS is the growth, the amount of growth I can do. Like I don't have to wait 6 months or a year to see return of investment. It all up to me. How much the time and effort I put upfront is the reward I will see. And something that I can grow pretty fast as well. I am not from medical background. I come from automotive industry. As my 9 to 5, I had zero billing experience, but I've always had a business mindset, and business is what I've always wanted to do ever since I was young. So that's
Yeah, so basically ABS checked all the boxes for you as far as being able to work from home, work your own hours,
yes.
that sort of thing. So it wasn't necessarily, I mean, was it like you were interested in healthcare kind of, or it was just like it just checked those boxes and so let's look at that.
Yeah, we check those boxes, and mainly because a lot of other businesses that I looked into, I wasn't sure about the return of investment and the risk I might take. And we were looking at restaurants and all the other things, and the level of risks it didn't align for me. And this is something what caught my eyes was, if you put more time initially, it doesn't come easy or naturally. The more time you put, the harder you try, and the better results you will see, and the results will continue to grow as you build the clients or your business as your business grows.
Yeah, so when you found out that you could do this business part-time in the beginning because you had a full-time job, you couldn't just quit. That was very attractive to you, obviously.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of people that have to start it out part-time, and it does take some folks a little bit longer. If they don't have a full focus on it, it takes them a little bit longer to get their clients. But luckily for you, it sounds like you've been practicing our marketing methods that we taught, and things have just been falling into place pretty quickly for you. So that's awesome. Let's see. So why don't you tell us? So you looked at us for a handful of months, did some due diligence. I can only assume that you were on some of these webinars. Did you make some reference calls? Did you talk to some of our business owners?
I did not. I did not do reference calls.
Oh,
I've basically done the research myself and understand the whole business strategy
oh.
and what possibly it can be. I know the experience can be different for all,
Mhm.
and uh, I mean that's something that didn't come across my mind that time while looking into it. But I did attend a webinar and understand very well what you guys have to offer before making the final decision. And it took me about 2.5 months of doing my research and signing up with you guys. So
Okay, so tell us a little bit about when did you sign up? Did you start the training right away? What were those dates? Do you remember?
yeah, I do remember. So I signed up in August, and I believe I paid for it on a Wednesday, and I started my lesson the next week right away. And I completed all of my 10 training sessions within 2 weeks. Um,
Okay.
and right after my training sessions were done, I'm off to my looking for my first client. So I started using all the methods. I actually started doing researches because while you go through the trainings with the trainer will teach you some of the things you can apply while you're learning the materials, like looking outside around just in your backyard. Some of the doctor offices website, you can see if they have bad reviews. So you can start doing your own research while you're in the training, and that's what I did. And when I finished my training, while I'm doing my training, I had all the business requirements set up as well along the way. That took me another 2 weeks at the same time. So first week of September is when I got graduated from ABS.
So you were setting up your business while you were going through the training. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes.
And so how was the training as far as were they amenable, is that the right word, to your schedule and helping
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of get it done in the time frame that you needed it to get done?
Yeah, as you know, I have a 9 to 5 and I have two little kids at home as well. So I needed to make sure the schedule aligns and the trainers was available basically on my available timing. And I believe I had to switch 2 days and there was no issue with us changing the days because of my conflicts.
Did you have to do some after hours and weekends trainings or?
No, I did not. I
Oh,
just changed the timing. It's basically from lunch to afternoon.
okay, gotcha. Well, just for everyone on the webinar, we actually are able to do, a lot of times we can do after hours and weekends if necessary. So, because we know people are, especially with full-time jobs and little kids, it's tough, to get it done. So we'll do whatever we got to do to get people through the training as quickly or as long as it takes. Like we just had a gentleman finish training and it took a whole month because there was three or I think there was like three other people on the class and they all work full time. So luckily we were able to kind of work through that whole schedule and get it all done eventually. Yeah. So where should we go from here, Eric? What do you think?
I would say, I think the biggest question is everybody's kind of asking, how did you get your first client? When, how did you get your client? So there's a couple of people there that are just simply asking, how did you get your first client?
Yeah, so you graduated September of last year, the training, and then what happened then? What did you do?
So, while you go to the training, you learn the ways of marketing. And one of the things that I kept in mind is making sure that I joined the BNI session. That really helped me talk about my business and then word of mouth. So anywhere I would be talking about, oh, I just recently launched a medical billing business. This is what I do. This is what I can offer. And just even like practicing with family and friends while you go to the training, the trainer will teach you like first learn within yourself how to introduce your business and what you have to offer so you're prepared when you're talking to someone that's looking for your service. I
Yeah.
really applied that. I would literally write the script and tell my husband like, this is what I own, this is what I do. So to answer your question, my first client was I went to an event about 4 weeks after the graduation of ABS, and that's where I was sitting with a group of people and telling them, I started my new journey with medical billing. If you know someone, and they were, proud and excited to see where I would be going. 2.5 weeks later, I got a call from a doctor from New Jersey. I had no idea who he was. It's just an unknown number calling and saying, "Oh, one of my friend was at an event with you, and he was sharing how you recently launched medical billing business. I'm really struggling. What is something that you can offer?" So right away, because I already had the script, not memorized but prepared, I told him what I have to offer, what I can do, and moving forward. And a week and a half later, I signed him up. So
That's
Wow.
great. So, for those who don't know, BNI, Business Networking International, it's a networking organization that has chapters all over the United States and multiple chapters within certain states. And so you joined one that was just kind of nearby where you live.
yeah, so they're remote mostly now since COVID. So I'm still with BNI. I do my fourth client, the one that I recently signed up, February, was from BNI referral, and that's my biggest client. So I joined BNI right after I graduated ABS,
Yeah.
as well as doing word of mouth and knocking on doors as well. So
And there's an annual fee for the BNI,
yes,
right? Do you remember how much it is?
$1,200 for me.
1,200. Okay. So it's
Yes.
gone up since I've heard about it last. So, I mean, you really have to look at that as an investment. My dad used to love to say, don't stumble over the pennies to get to the dollars.
Yeah.
So, so there may be some, additional, membership fees and things like that for different organizations, outside of the investment that people make for ABS. But obviously, as you can see, it's quite worth it. So you are not going to physical BNI meetings? You haven't really gone to those?
It's
Oh,
every Wednesday from 7:30 to 9 a.m.
AM?
Yes, weekly,
Okay.
a 1.5 hour. So the first hour, every business owner there, they talk about their business, and the last 30 minutes is when one person from that team gets to take the whole 30 minutes, introduce their whole meeting, whole business of what they do, so
Yeah.
that you have more interaction. And then you can interact with people there. You can set up one-on-one call with them to let them know what you do. And it's all basically a group of people who's trying to help each other grow. So I'm learning about 13 other people that own their own business. And if I'm hearing somebody else talking about they need a carpet cleaning service, I just refer them to that person that I know through BNI. And
Yeah.
just like that, my fourth client came from one of my BNI partner.
Yeah, you just said something very important. It's when you're doing this networking stuff, you really have to have the mindset of helping others get what they want, get what they need. So you have to always be in tune, like you said, just like you said, be in tune with referrals and things that other people are looking for. And then when you hear of that, you put them in, you connect them with that person, and then there you go. You're one of the most helpful people on the meeting.
Yeah.
Then eventually, the idea is reciprocation. Eventually someone will think the same thing about you and refer you to a doctor. Or have you ever met any actual doctors or any medical people on any of these meetings?
Well, doctors, but there are people who work at the doctor office and who's wanting to, like, who started their business on the side.
Mm.
So I have a team member in the BNI channel. She does pet servicing, but after hours pet servicing business, and she's also in that group, but she works at a doctor office full time. So that's where I got my fourth client. And it's not just like it's not just people from like where you're from, it's all over the world. Like whoever signs up to that meeting, you will get to see them, interact with them.
Yeah, yeah. So I do have a question about claims and processing and that sort of thing. So I guess Sam is asking, how many claims are you able to process per hour? So let's talk about what you decided to do for your business as far as getting the work done. What did you decide?
I did take the other route. I am not doing the billing. I'm not doing the work myself. I've hired people to do the work myself. I do have the large amount of claims for my last client that I signed up. That's about 1,200 plus claims a month. So I hired one full-time employee to do that client itself. I do have three other clients. My first three clients, their claim volumes is not as many. So it all will equal to about $1,000. 1,000 claims a month. So for that three clients, I kept one full-time employee. So I have two full-time employees that are doing the work, and I'm the face of my company. I'm meeting client. I'm on a weekly basis, I meet with my client to make sure everything is going good. If there's something we can improve to provide them better services. So I cannot answer how many claims my biller is doing per hour, but I know that the rate for me is to stop at 1,200 claim. So if there is 1,200 plus claims, then I would hire another full-time employee for that.
So tell me a little bit about, I don't know if you said this already, but your first, well, all of your clients, they're solo practitioners, or they're multiple doctors in one practice, and then what kind of specialties are you working with?
So I have four clients. One is chiropractic, he's solo, and one is mental health. She's also solo, and the third one is psychiatric, and there's two providers there, and the
Okay.
fourth one is an allergy office, and it's a solo provider.
Okay, so the fourth one is still a solo provider, but you said he or she is doing
He's
1,200
doing
claims a month.
1,200 plus claims a month.
That
Yes.
one doctor. Yeah. So you were saying earlier that that's kind of the number that you want to keep in mind for as far as one employee for you is about 1,200 a month. Outside of that, they may start, you don't want the quality of the work to be affected. That's what we were talking about. So 1,200 is the number. So that's why you hired someone else. So you found people on, was it Upwork?
So when I first had my first client, I already knew earlier on that I don't want to get into the billing. I want to be able to build my business and grow it, and take it to the next level. And in order for me to do that, I need time on my hands. So I hired the expert. I went to Upwork.com and found a certified medical biller who is 11 years of experience, great at what he does. So I interviewed him the next day and I asked him, questions that I needed to know about him. Once I interviewed actually many people,
Mm.
to be honest, but that's who I felt the most comfortable with from Upwork, and that's who I decided to go with. Um, one of my initial conversation with him was, I'm a business owner, my business will grow, and I don't want to give my work, few to this country, few to that country. And like, if you're able to take all of my clients as an offshore office, would you be able to do that? And then he's like, that's what I've been looking for years. And I would be happy to do that. So then I built my own contract with him, hired him, and then initially invited him on the onboarding of my first client, and
Mm.
that's who took over the billing from the following week.
You said they're both offshore. They're both
Yes,
both.
they're both offshore, but they work Eastern hours, so 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern.
I see. Okay. Yeah. To give a little bit more information to Sam asking about claims processing per hour, the business owners that we have that are doing their own billing work, at least in the beginning, they tell us they can process one medical claim in about 2 minutes once you get the hang of the system. So it doesn't take a long time. So like one general practice doctor, they're generating maybe what, 30 claims a day or something like that. So
Yes.
you're looking
Yeah.
at maybe an hour and a half of billing work, Sam. So hopefully that helps. You see anything in here you want to ask Eric, or what do you think?
And what I'd like to do is kind of share some things that we've been discussing over the last few Wednesdays on the webinar, and that is having an executive mindset. And it sounds like she's got that. Aleaha's got that. She's not just she hasn't gotten herself in the weeds of doing the billing. She is truly an owner of a company. She's the CEO of a company. And when we're doing these webinars, there's so many times I talk about, whether you're finding a client or maybe even a power partner like what she's done with through BNI. Those are the things as an executive, those are what executives do. So, Aleaha, I applaud you for what you've done, because we have really been talking about that over the last 3 to 4 weeks of what it really means to have more of an executive mindset when you're coming into this business. So,
Mhm.
congratulations on that.
So much.
Um, Christine asked, did you do any paid advertising?
No, not yet. For me, I don't have. Initially, I wanted to just spend an amount of money, and I did that. So I don't. I don't want. I don't. I did not plan on doing any advertising or anything. And if I didn't have enough time on my hand, and I found it inflexible enough for me because, like, after I leave my 9 to 5, I would be. So weekend is when I do my research in my neighborhood of doctor offices, right? So if I'm looking at doctor offices near me, if I'm finding 5 doctor office, they have really bad reviews. That can be my potential client. That's who I want to introduce myself to. So after I leave office, some days I get to leave office very early. So I would take that time to just go to those five doctor office, just introduce myself. None of them, I mean, 10 of them can say no, one of them will say yes. So my time will eventually pay off, but I will learn from all of them. And that's what I'm doing mostly. I'm just going to doctor offices, introducing myself, and ABS provides you with great resources you can use, like the books and stuff, to just interact with the doctor when you're in the office or the office manager. Doctors are very busy, so you might not be able to meet with them once you're there, but leaving them something allows you to receive a call back or curious, like, who was here? Who's that person that dropped this thing off? So, yeah, no paid advertising yet.
So did I hear you say you are doing some research before you go out and
Oh,
and
yeah.
walk in cold? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
All the time. All the
excellent
time.
point. Yeah, excellent point. Tim
Good.
likes
Yeah.
Tim likes to call it detective work. You want to do some
Yeah.
detective work about the practices, so you have some idea of what you're walking into, right?
Yeah.
And also you're right about the different materials that we put together for you. They love getting free stuff. They love free gifts. We've had a lot of people have gotten clients just giving them a pill bottle filled with candy with a book, and then just following up with them. So that's great that you're doing that and it's working. Um, let's see what else we got here. There's some.
Did you go through the pros and cons?
I mean, that's kind of a general question. Jeff is asking,
Yeah.
can you share just the pros and cons that you've experienced since you started? Um, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that that question statement?
Like, I cannot give you one thing that's pros and cons. It's all depending on what you're doing. If I'm not
Sure.
putting my work, I mean, and time to it and researching enough, then there will be more cons than pros, right? So it's all depend. Like it did take me a month, almost 2 months to get my first client. Initially, I was very like, oh my God, is this gonna work out? Is this gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I did invest my money and how do I get back? So I believe like you should have goals that you need to work toward. My goal, looking back at training, when I was doing training, I asked Cynthia, what would be the next 3 months look like? That was who was my trainers, and she said, it's going to be a lot of hard work and pushing yourself. And you're going to hear a lot of no's, but that one yes that you get will pay off all the no's that you receive. And
Right.
that applied to me so well
Yeah.
because first 2 months I did feel a little bit of questioning myself. Is it worth it? Am I going to get it? But now I can proudly say that I can quit from my 9 to 5 if I want to. And it has only been 6 months. So it all depends on you and what you're setting your goal and expectation, because the whole market is out there. It's for you. There are multiple doctors who needs billing.
Mhm.
You just have to find the client and the person and know the ways of getting to them.
Did everyone hear that? She just said that I think by your third client, you replaced your income, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Your fourth
Yeah.
client, you replaced your
Yes.
income. And so now it's just a matter of, well, when do we want to jump in with both feet and go full time? And wow, that's a great place to be. Let's see. So Alicia is asking, how long did it take to get the clients? I mean, so you finished training in September, took you like 2 months to get your first client. You just signed your fourth in February. So hopefully that helps answer that one. So yeah, someone's asking how many clients you have. It's four. Let's see what else. So you also for Faraz is asking what type of marketing strategies did you use the most? And so I heard networking, business networking, and I also heard direct contact is what we call going into the offices. But
And
like we just said, it takes a lot of detective work before you don't want to just, oh, let's go in there. You don't want to just be driving by and just stop in. You want to be you want to have a plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
I would rather go to 5 offices that I already know what they're doing and going through, like, than go to 30 office that I have no idea the base of their business, right? What they're looking for. And yeah, like once you go there, not everybody will be present because they're working. They don't expect you to be there, so you're just walking in. But walking with the mindset of, yes, so the worst thing you can say is no to me, so it's okay. Like you're one out of 40 people that I'm hunting after, so it's okay to get one. So.
You got a great
Let me ask you,
attitude.
about
Great
that part
attitude.
though. Like, do you have a CRM software? Are you putting these people into some type of follow-up system at all? Have you done that yet?
An Excel girl. I
What's
I
that?
I am an Excel girl. I just use
Oh,
Excel to track everything. I do have an Excel that I just track everything. So if I went to 5 doctor, like my goal every week is to visit 5 offices. That's what I do, on top of a 9 to 5 and my 2 little babies. I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I do 5 offices a week. Weekend is when I do the research. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like I try my best to go to the 5 office before Wednesday so I can start my weekend earlier. And Fridays is when I have um, my 4 client that I already signed up. I communicate with them as a business owner to make sure everything is going good with them on Fridays during lunch. So balancing out the time and schedule.
yeah, yeah.
Good.
Well, I think you
Good.
would benefit from utilizing a CRM of some sort and having an email campaign that you could send to people that you've already talked with. I think that's pretty important. Obviously, you're not really struggling with that much, so just another little thing where maybe our support team can help you get that set up. If you want to look into that.
I
Um,
want to comment while we're looking through some other questions here. Now, you said when you were doing your research on the weekends, you're looking for doctors that do not have great reviews. Is that what I heard you say earlier?
Yeah, mostly doctors who do not have great reviews is what I go after. And then I categorize them by specialty. So Jeff, the best human being on earth, who is with ABS, the support team, he initially when I graduated from ABS, he is who I connected with, and he showed me some tips and tricks on finding those specialties. First week I can tackle mental health, and then psychiatry, or any criteria that I go after, and then within that I can search by cities, and then so that will save my time, right? So I don't waste 1 hour driving. So one day I go in this city for this specialty, and then this city on this specialty. So every week is different for me. It's not same place.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
What else do you see up there, Eric?
Yeah,
Got a
Rachel's
lot of
asking
questions.
about, yeah, does come up often, especially when we're dealing with new doctors as clients. Are you currently using their billing system? This is what it's coming down. Are you using their billing system? Or are you using the billing system that we provide as part of the services? How do you deal with your doctor, your providers there?
For my clients, we are using their billing software system, and they're paying to the software. I did not have a client who were interested in switching software yet, but that's something I always provide and offer during my initial consultation with them. I tell them that this is available for you if you're looking for something, but I found that, they find it easier to just give a login for their portal. So when we do the initial questionnaires, and
Yeah.
it asks what software they're using, and if I see they're having difficulties with it, then I let them know I have something to offer here as well.
Good.
Did you set up any demos with our demo teams? Did you do any demos
No.
with our platforms? No, no one would really
Not,
want to do
not
that.
yet. Yeah, not yet. I had
Now,
one
did
person
you
interested, but they backed out, so not yet.
Now, did you need to check with your billers to make sure they were okay with the software that the practice had, or
Yeah.
how'd you
Yep.
handle
So
that?
that's where I spend a lot of time. I interviewed many people when I first decided that, okay, I'm gonna send my work offshores. I interviewed 11 people total. Out of the 11 people, I drove down to three. From that three, the person that I decided to hire, he has experience of 11 years, and he used 13 different softwares already. So luckily, the four software that my clients are using, he's already experienced.
Hmm.
But what I've noticed is, like, when you're onboarding a office, and if you tell them that I don't have experience in this software, they already have people who can work with the biller to bring you on board.
Good.
My first client, he uses Lightech, and the biller initially had a little hard time using that Lightech software. It's an older version.
Yeah.
So their software team provided training to my biller to bring him up to speed.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
that's what we tell people a lot is like every software platform is going to have some type of e-learning library or training that they can help you with. And, our support team, we can certainly help you as much as we can. Obviously the platforms that we are partnered with, we're way more well versed in, but the top 10 competing systems that are out there, there's different bells and whistles, but the basic function of filing a claim is pretty similar. So yeah. Nasir is asking, how did you decide what practices you wanted to target? Like, do you have a niche, or is it just like, who cares? I mean, anybody and everybody.
My list down to 10. I don't have it handy, but I've drawn my list down to 10, top 10 list that I'm tackling going toward. And that's where I was saying, like, I can, because I have my top 10 facility, like, specialty I want to work with, what I do is, so if I want oncology, and if I want my city, like a city that's 30 minutes away from me, I'll just type in oncology and then the city that I want to go. And from that, it's going to come like 30 or 40 of them might show up, or 15 show up. From that 15, I'll do research and tackle down to 5. But I do have top 10 list that I want to initially go with.
How did you determine that list?
During the training, Cynthia gave a whole list, And then she said, you can decide to go with all, but a suggestion is to try to go after maybe 10 to 12 and not burn yourself, because
Hmm.
you know the biggest goal is to get your first client. Once you get your first client, I feel like you're motivated more, and you already know the process, you've already worked through it.
Right.
It's so easy to lose confidence when you're looking for the first client, especially after investing something money, and you're like, I just want to get that return of investment fast. So biggest thing is just keep it pushing and don't give up. Like there will be someone that you will sign up. It might be 2 months, 6 months, a year, or 8 months, but if you're going after them, you will catch them for sure.
Yeah, we do have a list of specialties that are they work really, really well with the platforms that we have.
Yes.
And so there are actually some medical specialty organization groups that recommend our platforms, like the Podiatrists of America,
Yep.
whatever. I think they list our platform as one of the top, recommended platforms. So we've got a bunch of podiatry clients, for example. So. All right, let's see what else we got here.
Christine, did you get that one? And, Aleaha, I think you kind of answered this already, but Christine is asking, did you sell them the technology or your billing, um, or you as a biller, basically? Or let's say not. Maybe I'm reading it
So
wrong. Did you
you're
sell
so
them? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so Aleaha is doing the billing for all of
Yep.
these clients and did not sell them software, none of them.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. So
Yeah.
so the platforms, I don't know if you mentioned them all, but there's LITech, and are they all different for each client? It's a
One is
different
using Lightech, one is using Simple Practice, one is using ECW, two are using ECW. So
eClinical works, yeah.
So I'm not so pushing to sell software, because if there's something that when we're doing the initial onboarding or questionnaires, if
Yeah.
I see an issue or concern in that area, then I talk more about it. But if
Yeah.
I see they're happy with the service they're using, then keep it. It not a
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, that's what we try to teach people. I know some people have a hard time, they some of our business owners think that they have to be in software sales,
Yeah.
and they're trying to sell the system, and well, how do I convince them to switch and all this? And it's like you need to really kind of adjust your mental thinking. Now, that said, we do see the numbers where, if a practice switches to all of our integrated platforms, very, very often they see a great reduction in denied claims. They get paid a lot faster. So what have your clients seen? I mean, have they been able to pretty quickly notice an improvement just because you're doing the work and the software doesn't necessarily matter, or?
It all depends, right? Like my first client came to me saying, "Oh my God, I'm having the hardest time with my billing system," which is what Lightech is, right?
Wow.
So he was not happy with his software at all, and that's when we wanted to show him what's out there we can offer. And I did schedule a demo, but he backed out because he did himself some research, and he's not willing to switch from a software that he's been using for 16 years.
Hmm.
So I felt that if I'm pushing for the software changes, I'm going to lose my contact. So I just
Yeah.
told him, okay, give me some time, let my biller take over your account, and if we need initial help with the software, provide him some training, either through the software or through your office person, whoever doing the billing, so that my biller can get up to speed. So that's what he did. He provided us the timing that we needed to get up to speed. And then he mentioned to me, "Oh, it's really not the software, it's my billing. That's what I'm having issue with." So if a client is coming to me for software concerns, that's when I will push the software more. But if
Right.
they're just coming to me with the billing, that's where I'm here to solve their
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
understand that switching software platforms is a huge undertaking for some.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
should never try to force that unless they're
Yeah.
really upset with what they've got, obviously. Yeah. Let's see. Sam was asking, I think, about your employees. How do you monitor their productivity and efficiency? I guess you have regular meetings with your folks, and so you're having
So
regular meetings with your billers and with your clients, right?
my clients, only the first month after I onboard them, I really want to make sure everything is going good. So if I onboarded my fourth client on February 1st. That's when our contract started. And ever since then, every Friday, I meet with her 30 minutes, the office manager. They might sometimes say, okay, I don't have time this week to meet, but everything going well. Perfect. I'm happy to hear that. But if we have any questions and concerns, I want to discuss and resolve that. That's only done for the first month. After the first month, I am available if you need me to be here and talk, but I've noticed that like all 4 of my clients are up to speed now, no issues. This Friday will be the last Friday I will be doing, meeting with my 4th client, office manager. As far as tracking the work, I do, because I have a 9 to 5, I cannot be present with the 2 employees that I've hired. So we communicate through Teams. They're always posting on Teams, answering any questions. And what I have is 2 of my clients use Teams as well for their team meetings. So I added my employer to the team channel, is where they're communicating for their billing needs. And I'm always aware. I'm CC'd on any email that's going or coming in. Anything that has to do with financial is what's coming to me. Anything to do with billing is going to my billers, and my billers are always reaching out, letting me know at the end of the day, this is how many claims we've completed, this is the status of this office, and this is what we're working on tomorrow. Number of claims, denials, I'm keeping track of everything. So what we do is recently we started with my team using Dropbox. There is an Excel sheet. The Excel sheet has 4 tabs for four offices, and there's weekly updates on it. That's where the biller update, just so I can catch up on weekend. And I don't do the billing, so I'm not very knowledgeable in that area.
Yeah.
I like to see the numbers, and I'm just on the weekend, I get to see how many claims were done for this office, how many are denied. And if I get a question from that office, I'm ready to answer their question, just looking at the Excel.
You're an Excel girl.
Boy, I'm telling you.
So you have you been getting reports out of their existing systems and been able to put those into Excel to
Yes,
manipulate?
everything.
Yeah.
We utilize Dropbox a lot. We started that starting January, and that's been helping a lot. Like all the reports are there.
Right. That's cool. Okay. So I don't want you to get into too much specifics, but we are getting some questions about revenue, profit margin. Talk to me a little bit about, well, Saad is asking how much revenue/profit margin for each doctor, office, or client that you sign up. So can you talk a little bit about just what you're charging them for the work? Are you charging setup fees? Kind of give people an idea of that.
Yeah. One thing I'll tell you is you can lose a contract if you want to go so hard on the setup fees. You have to keep that in mind. That's just a one-time fee of 1,500, whatever you're charging.
Yeah.
You winning that client is your biggest growth. You don't need that 500 for long term. So sometimes depending on the client. So when I'm interacting with them, if I'm seeing like they're not so hard to interact with, you'll feel the vibe when you're talking to somebody, how they are as a human to handle. So if I'm seeing an easy interactive going on, I will offer like, I have a setup fee of $500. I will charge that. I have 4 clients. My 3rd client, I charged them a big amount for sign up fee. My 4th client, I did not charge them any sign up fee because I knew I can lose the contract. But just by communicating with them, because they're shopping around, she mentioned to me, I'm looking for 4 other billing companies. So right then I knew if I'm asking her to give me 500 up front, she's going to question my, you're wanting to collect money from me before you even provide the service.
That's smart.
However, my
Yeah.
3rd client, I knew they're not looking around. They're only talking to me. And it was kind of a referral. So I had a good because I charged my first client the amount, I felt okay to go with it. So it depends on how you're interacting and how you're feeling. Don't try to lose the contract just for the sign up fee. If you can get it, good for you. And the percentage, I would say stick with what you feel is best. If an office is earning $100,000 a month, I'm just giving a large example here, and you're charging them 3%, you're getting $3,000 a month. However, if the office is getting $30,000 a month and you're charging them 3%, that's not a lot of money, right? So you have to do your own math. Make sure that you're able to, depending on their revenue, you're able to generate a good revenue for yourself. That does not mean, not going anything below 6%, but all my clients are anywhere between 5 and 8.
That's what I was going to ask you. What is
Yeah.
your, yeah, so that's typically what we see is between 5 and 8 or 9%. That's kind of standard across the board, across the country. But you have to be, like you said, you have to analyze what they're bringing in and what makes sense. And did you utilize our support team to help you with any proposals with the pricing and stuff to kind of figure
Yes.
that out?
My first client, like I said, I will always be grateful and thankful to Jeff. He helped me through everything.
Yeah.
That he's the best. I mean, your support team is the best. Because of them, I got my first client so fast because I knew any questions I needed to answer, I had the support team to answer for me right away.
Yeah.
The first client I signed up was very fast, and Jeff witnessed it, and he was able to help me write the proposal. That same afternoon, we had the call set up with them. So I did take help from support, and I still do. I always communicate with Jeff if I have any question, and they're amazing. They're just like they want you to succeed. So anything you have questions, you just go set up a few minutes call with them, and they're here to help you.
So
Yeah.
if anybody else answers the phone, you're like, nope, I want to talk to Jeff.
I mean, I'm open to talk to anybody, but they're also great. It's like, someone who's sitting in the background rooting for you to win. And they're also excited when they heard, I got the first client. I emailed my trainer and I told her, I got the first client, and she was so happy. So seeing people who actually want you to succeed and provide you the material that you need,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, we have a whole team of people that they just want to pay it forward. We help them
Yeah.
succeed. They want to help other people succeed, and it's just a really cool, cool vibes. We actually had somebody on the webinar. His name is Jeff, and he said, "What ongoing support do you receive from ABS?" Which I think we just answered that. So, Jeff,
He had another question also
yeah.
a little bit further down, and he was asking, is a CPC required? And that's a certified professional coder. I thought that was interesting because I know we talk a lot of people come into this business thinking that they got to know all the codes. Aleaha, kind of talk to us about that.
So, as I mentioned, I am not from any billing background. I had no idea what medical billing even was until I started doing my whole research and learning about ABS. You do not need any kind of coding license. Most of the time, the coding is done by the provider. All
Mhm.
you're doing is submitting the claim. So if they're seeing someone for if my allergy provider, if he's seeing someone for allergy shot, 99.9% of the time, it's going to be the same code they're going to be using. And the
Yeah.
code will be right there filled for you. If not, then, you'll get speed up right away because there's only number of codes they use per services they offer.
That's great. Very good.
I was trying to type an answer to somebody. Nancy was asking if all the doctors were solo practitioners. We answered that. I think 3 of them are solo, and one of them is two doctors in one practice. So
Right.
I'm,
okay,
I'm
well,
trying to
we got
go
a
through
lot
them,
of.
Adam. There's a lot of questions here, so we're
I don't
certainly
know if
not
we're
going
going
to
to
be able
get.
to get
I
to
don't know
all
if we're
of
going to
them.
get to them all. Yeah, it's a lot. We kind of went back to BNI for a minute. Ashley was asking, BNI seems huge. How did you manage your anxiety? Do you have any history of public speaking?
I don't have history of public speaking. I used to be very introvert. I would not be able to speak in front of two people. I moved to America in 2009 and I did not even know the word like, beside hi and hello, I didn't even know like anything. So I just come from an like background that's we're all like not so outspoken. But I feel like that fear it was gone as I learned to push myself, right? Like, what's the worst that can happen when you're talking to others? We're all human. We're just interacting. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the ways of communicating, your ways of communicating and my ways of communicating is all through verbiage, right? The words. So
Yeah.
it does not matter what you're using. We're all speaking the same language. Just forget about like people are sitting with you. Just act like you're talking to a wall and like I said, I used to be very introvert. Like you cannot pay me to sit in front of two people except for my families.
Well, the
Um,
important thing, what you said earlier is, the scripts and everything that we give you, you memorize, 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 practice with your family,
yeah,
with your spouse. That's very important because you want to be at a point where you can just recite it without even thinking about it. And then eventually, yes, of course, the first few times is going to be kind of kind of stiff, but once you do it a few times, it just becomes more natural and sounds more natural. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good tip there. So, uh,
English is my third language.
oh,
So
wow.
I I would never, if you asked me to go back 7 years and look at today, I mean, I would never be able to speak in front of 10 people. But at this moment, in my 9 to 5, I hold meetings with 100 and 200, 300 people. So it's just, I feel like it's something that plays internally. You just have to work through it, meaning just nothing gonna happen if you just pretend like you're talking to another human, and nothing will happen. It's you're talking to somebody else. They have opinion, you have opinion. You're just letting your one know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so Sam was asking how many hours do you consider full time? I mean, how many hours are you spending on your business right now, part time?
With researches and going to office, I would say about 8 hours a week.
8 hours a week. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind sharing? Oh, Omer is asking how much do you pay your medical billers? Do you mind sharing that? I mean, I know you're getting a good deal. They're working offshore. You got to be getting a good deal, right?
I'm paying a lot less than what I would pay here in the United States. I know you have to pay minimum 18, I think, starting depending on the state.
Yeah.
17, 18 is where you start, but I'm paying below 10, way below 10.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, a dollar purchases more over there, I think. So,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For like $1 is so my business is offshore to Pakistan. That's where my employees are from.
Okay.
And $1 there is, I think, 280 or 310 for their change. So it's a lot for them.
Okay. Wow.
Got it.
Nancy says, how soon do you start seeing pay once you start billing? So after you sign up your client, they go live. Are you invoicing what, a month later, basically?
Yeah.
Or
Yep,
yeah.
once a month. So that's ABS will help you with all the contract and everything is written for you. End of the month is when you will send your invoice to your client, and if you're signing them up for a 5%, whatever they collected, you will take 5% from there. You will send the invoice to them for that.
Okay. Jeff is asking some information like PHI, HIPAA requirements preclude offshore processing. How do you handle that?
They're all licensed there, so I didn't had any issue with. That's why when I did my research on finding a team offshore, I found someone who's licensed there, so I don't have any conflict with
Yeah,
that.
I mean that's offshore billing and coding has been done for years, so we've
Yeah.
Yeah,
got that
Yeah.
part figured out, and the systems are all compliant and all that. So,
correct.
um, any other ones in there you want to ask, Eric?
I don't believe so. I know that we're got about 7 more minutes left here to the top of the hour.
Well, I'm going to try to get through some of these quick. Let's see.
Yeah. If you see any more.
Some people are asking how much does it cost to start? Our investment is a one-time investment of $30,000. That does have to be paid up front before you start the training. Let's see. Ellie, how long did it take to land your first client? She said 2 months. Cost of startup. Okay, we got that. Hardware, computers. Are you PC or Mac person?
Mac.
Mac,
Yeah.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thumbs
Thumbs
up.
up here.
Yeah, the systems that we have run on any computer, PC, Mac,
Yes.
any browser, whatever. Let's see. Any other good ones here? Let me just kind of scroll.
I think Steve's asked the question, how much time do you do your research before visiting? She does her research on the weekends. How long does it take you to go through that, Leah?
Max hour and a half. It
Okay.
doesn't take that long. Like if you there is a website you can tackle down, and it doesn't take more than an hour and a half for me.
Okay.
Bill is saying, I keep getting caught at the gatekeeper in the medical offices and not getting to the practice manager or doctor. How are you getting past the gatekeepers? Do you have any tips?
Yep. So finding out the office manager name, I know it's so silly, but sometimes I would call that number and ask, "Hi, can I speak to your office manager before I go in?" And then they're like, "No, she's busy." I said, "Oh yeah, what's her name?" So I already have the name before I go, and when I'm there, I'm like, "Can I talk to Stephanie, please?" And they're like, "Oh, she's maybe already Stephanie and her already spoke." And
Ah,
I'm like, "Oh, I just came for the billing. I found out about you and your office, and here I am giving you my materials." So
Good for you.
That's a good tip there.
Now, did you learn that in training or did you just do that on your own?
I just did that on my own because I didn't find the success in the initially, like when I would go in the office, just like the person that's asked the question, I would get stopped right in the front desk. So I was like, nope, I need to find out the office manager name. And it's 99% of the time it's on their website. So if you have the doctor office that you're going to, if you go on their website, the office manager is listed there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running out of time here. Let's see. Some of the stuff we already covered. You guys will be we'll be uploading this recording, of course, so you can go back and watch it and learn about our background and stuff. You don't see anything, Eric?
No, it's just almost a lot of the same type of questions. Some are asking you, are you using the doctor's system versus using the ABS system? And so those are being she's using the doctor's systems at this
Yes.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill is asking, do you handle patient questions? You guys take questions from patients, or the practice does that? You
Practice does that. One of my office doesn't have enough front desk person. So my biller already has a line that's set up and he can receive phone calls to get the question. And that's only temporarily. They're working on hiring somebody. So
yeah. There's a couple people asking if maybe they could chat with you. I know that you're very busy. So I don't know if that answer is yes or no.
we can set up schedule timing as
Yeah, I
I
know. Yeah, you're so busy. I know. So maybe we could set something up. I don't know if they're an existing licensee or not. So, we talked about employees.
Yeah. Rachel's asking, do you work on a specific state? I know that you're out of Michigan, but you
I live in Michigan, but my clients are all over from New Jersey, Florida, and Texas. That's
got it.
Yep. Yep. We hear that a lot. Like it really doesn't matter this
it
day and age,
doesn't.
with cloud-based platforms and all that. So,
Yeah.
and one question is, how are you finding new clients today? It sounds like you're still just doing direct contact with a lot of research and networking, and that's pretty much it.
My
Yeah.
goal is to have 10 and then let them refer me more. But that's the goal, is to have 10. So as I mentioned, set a goal, an expectation for yourself. So my goal for 2025 is to have 10 clients. Once I have that, I'll stop doing marketing for a while.
Wow, that's a great goal. Love
That's
it.
a great goal.
All right. Well, we kept you on here a little bit longer than I promised, so sorry about that. Thank you so much for being on.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you all.